We are 15 minutes away from opening our grain and livestock trade here on a Thursday. Mark Offel, thanks for joining us. Again, a lot of folks tuning in on RFDTV. A lot of you, though, following us along on Rural Radio, Channel 147 on Sirius XM, going about the business of farms and ranches around the country. Welcome, one and all. Hope you'll spread the word about Market Day Report to your friends and neighbors. Let's get started here. Even though we're a few minutes away from opening the trade this morning, we have information for you every Thursday, all things considered, all things equal, not a holiday sometimes along the week. We get our weekly export sales numbers. Let's go to Rich Nelson from our friends at Allendale and talk about these numbers and what the trade was looking for. Weather is going to overlap a lot of this, but these are important numbers for the trade to be watching here week to week. Rich, what do the numbers show you this morning?
In terms of the overall numbers from USDA on the corn side, 734,000 tons we're seeing. This was pretty much within the trade's expectation. It does look like we're going to slightly miss USDA's old crop estimate, but as far as new crop, maybe the same story there. 226 million bushels booked so far. Over on the soybeans, 1.353 million tons in this case, doing a great number, beating the heck out of these expectations on soybeans. Old crop numbers were strong. On the meal side, 143,000 tons. This was within the trade's expectation. And as far as oil looks like that, only almost 27,000 tons. And this one was neutral. And wrapping up the wheat side of things here, we've got 634,000 tons. This case, this was over the trade's expectation.
And I was looking at some of the percentages that USDA also sends along commentary, as you know, getting that as well. Corn down 61% over the 4-week average. Now, wheat up over 40% over the 4-week average. Again, weather is going to be intercepting all these numbers likely as we start the trade here in a few minutes. But, not a bad wheat number here considering the season and all the world supplies.
Certainly true. And as far as this number, we have had word in previous weeks that maybe we were out of, mispriced a bit compared with our competitors. Maybe now we can start to argue that we are going to see maybe a little more value-based buyers come back in. And you can certainly argue that these export sales might not be too bad these next few weeks.
Very good. Then let's turn to things like sorghum, cotton, and rice. Numbers there, Rich, just so we have those. A lot of folks want to know what those numbers are as well. Sorghum at 17,500. Take it from there.
In terms of the sorghum numbers, like you said, 17.5 here. On the cotton side, 253,000 tons. In this case, this was not too bad of a number compared with the past few weeks. And over the rice here, 46,000, almost 46,500 in terms of the numbers there. As far as the rice numbers for itself, that was a bit under last week's very strong state.
Very good. Rich, now let's talk about the markets as we open here a little more than 10 minutes here. And I was reading December corn is going to start today here, lowest since September the 1st of last year. So they're nearly down to 12-month lows here in our December new crop corn.
Certainly right here. And as far as this trade's mindset, well, USDA's numbers, if we're talking back in the July 170.7 bushel per acre, they're talking $3.60. So in terms of the trade's mindset, they're still holding on to a very high yield number with these type of prices plugged in here.
Also reading here that Brazil's second crop of corn is now, a lot of it is being piled on the ground. That gives us an idea of the world supply of corn that we have to move.
Certainly right. As far as this goes, it will be an issue which is going to be a problem for us and will continue to be a new crop-based problem here, like we said on the export sales discussion. These have been some low numbers. In fact, the second lowest new crop booking on new crop corn, in fact, going back to about 9 to 10 years.
Rich, thanks for your time as always. We'll get started here in about 10 minutes. Appreciate that, and we'll check in with you again tomorrow morning.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Rich Nelson from Allendale joining us. We'll take a look at the livestock trade, and we'll head from Illinois to Texas, Amarillo to be exact. Ed Serwin joining us in a minute. Be right back. And get a little ahead of myself, Ed Serwin will join me next half hour taking a look at the livestock trade here and more specifically the feeder cattle trade. Let's take a look at the export sales that we do have for beef and pork. And looking at the numbers here on beef, 12,800 These are metric tons for beef, and that's down 6% over the 4-week average. Number one customer, Japan, and number two, South Korea. Taking a look at the pork side of things, 18,300 metric tons, and pork is up 9% over the 4-week average. Mexico and Japan, number one and number two customers there. And we take a look now. Again, we're still a little less than 10 minutes away from opening our futures trade here today. We do have information here in the cattle trade. Let's look at the cash market here. There are some sales that have taken place, not very many, but and we have some asking prices here. Again, asking 113 in a cash basis, 180, 182 on a carcass trade. Now, Packer bids generally $3 to $5 below those numbers. Packer bids for the cash market around 110, and Packer bids at last look this morning here are at 175 to 177. Now, there have been some sales in the cash market at 110, 111, and on that carcass trade, 175 to 177. Again, if you didn't catch the word yesterday, the Fed Cattle Exchange had over 1,000 cattle listed for their online auction yesterday. 0 cattle sold on that sale. So again, we'll be visiting with our friends from Superior later this morning and look at the overall trade here and their big auction sale coming up here next week in Sheridan, Wyoming. Beef cutouts on the day, lower to start out the day here. Looking at the choice cutout, 197.51. That's down over $1, $1.44 to be exact. And our select cuts down 83 cents here, 195.04. Again, the choice and select continue to narrow that spread. Ed Serwin checking on that every week here. If you want to know what's going on in that box beef trade, he is with us every Tuesday morning in our 8 o'clock hour Central Time, reviewing this box beef trade from the past week. And he'll have a number here. That's been up to over $20 spread here, $20, $22, $24 spread in the early summer. Right now, down to about a $2 spread, $2.50. All right, just take a look at the pork side of things here. First, the cash trade here, looking at a carcass and the cash trade. Well, here's pork cutout. Start there. Remember, if you were with us yesterday, midday, the pork cutout was down over $15 on those bellies. Well, ending the day down $13.59, and starting out the day here, 182.5 roughly on those bellies. That's the number that sticks out to the trade here. We were the lowest here since mid-June on these pork cutout numbers. Carcass overall was down $2.30 starting the day, 91.5 to start the day. Loins down $1.28, and hams were down $1.14. Over in the cash side of things, again, looking at, and the carcass trade for that matter, on a national average basis, kind of give you folks an idea where you stand if you sold hogs on a carcass basis or in a cash trade here yesterday. The national average on a carcass basis, 76.58, and the national average on a cash trade, 61.52. So, Janet, we'll get started here, and we will have Ed Serwin with us next half hour.
All right.
Get me back on schedule.
Better late than never.
Yes,
there
exactly
you go.
right.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Sure.
Actually, he's not late. Correction there.
That's
so
right.
You're just early. Thanks,
Okay.
Mark.